is this. The sitting arrangement is usually the president sits here, the Minister of Foreign Affairs sits behind, and the ambassador to the AU sits behind. And most of the time what happens is, when the president is speaking, you see them coming to advise him, to tell him what to say, writing things to him. But the sitting arrangement...
So my name is Lugero and I come from Cape Verde, but I'm living in Lisbon, in Portugal. And my experience, it starts when I started studying in university in Lisbon, and I became the president of African students. And then I started to involve with African Diaspora Youth Corporation in different kind of meetings promoted by North-South Center of the Council of Europe. And then I start to like all this environment and all this kind of cooperation between African young people in Europe and also in Africa. So in the training course that the North-South Center promotes in Portugal, together with many African diaspora youth leaders in Europe, so we decided in December 2009 to create a platform that can provide one African youth voice in Europe. So Adine came that. And from there, I became the president of African Diaspora Youth Network since 2010, and until now, it's good to see that all these, activities and effort that we put to make and bring together African diaspora young people to see how they can solve their own problems.
Les événements qu'a connu le pays, en particulier à Bangui, où une grande partie d'infrastructures économiques, notamment dans le secteur commercial et industriel, ont été endommagées. Face à cette situation, l'État centrafricain a mis en position de nouvelles politiques qui ont pour but l'amélioration de la situation de l'emploi dans ce pays. Ainsi, rendre l'environnement propice à l'investissement et à la croissance est l'une des importantes politiques mises en place par l'État centrafricain, et ce à travers renforcer la sécurité et la paix sociale, puisque la sécurité et la paix sont deux éléments indispensables à une bonne conduite du processus de gouvernance. Promouvoir une stratégie macroéconomique de croissance fondée sur le développement du secteur privé, par la création d'un environnement économique et social favorable au développement de l'initiative privée. Renforcer la gestion des dépenses publiques en imposant plus de rigueur dans la gestion et en privilégiant l'allocation des ressources budgétaires vers les emplois permettant de réduire l'incidence de la pauvreté. Et finalement, promouvoir la réalisation de travaux à haute intensité de main-d'œuvre en liant les objectifs de l'emploi à ceux de la croissance économique à travers des investissements économiquement rentables basés sur la main-d'œuvre et les autres ressources locales et répondant aux besoins des populations à faible revenu. Cette approche offre la possibilité de privilégier l'utilisation intensive du travail localement dans la construction. Notre État pense que ces politiques devraient contribuer à la réduction du taux de chômage enregistré. Merci pour votre attention.
How they can, cross and reduce the obstacles that we used to find in Europe, and at the same time is also to contribute for the African development. How we can use African youth skills in our countries in Africa, in our mother countries, to see how we can also involve and link our effort, our technology and experience with African youth organization, not only in Europe but also in Africa. So these kinds of international meetings and experience, it's quite interesting because it brings every time actually let's say good opportunities where different youth representatives from different organizations can work together, can plan, can implement.
The president of Central African Republic said that poverty and unemployment are several crises that usually hinder the development of every country in Africa and in the world. And she underlined the importance of youth policies in every government. She also spoke about the economic infrastructures being damaged recently, especially in Bangui. And she underlined a few policies that can be put in place for youth development in her country, such as reinforcing social security and peace for good governance, encouraging economic and social policies for the youth, and managing public and financial resources towards youth programs and youth initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable President of Algeria. Honorable President of Uganda, you have the floor. Honorable President of Tunisia, Togo, and Zambia, prepare yourselves in that order. Thank you.
Honorable Excellencies and honorable fellow presidents. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this honorable event.
And of course, I would say the most important can give the contribution for their own inclusion, for their own life that can also make, let's say, others direct and indirect beneficiaries involved. And of course, the good things as well is that the African young people, besides work for their own inclusion, they can work together with some European institution and at the same time work with African institutions as well, not only to develop and achieve projects in Europe, but also in Africa. This is, I would say, the good points and create this bridge between Africa and Europe.
To express my thoughts and concerns about our youth and their unemployment. 77% of our population are under the age of 30, while 83% of them are unemployed. Undeniably, this poses serious political, economic, and social challenges to our country. I believe that most of you, dear fellow presidents, can identify with this issue. Our government, as well as yours, have tried everything to meet this concern through multiple policies, programs, and funding, but their success has been minimal. Our National Youth Council Act of 1993 states that youth are under obligation to contribute to social-economic development at all levels and to take advantage of available education and training opportunities. This, I believe, is the problem. Our youth are compelled to plant seeds, to invest their financial and intellectual contributions they can bring to the table, and to get active in order to later harvest the fruit of their labor. Our job as honorable presidents is to offer decent education, jobs, and funding which rewards the youth's own efforts. But our youth has gone astray. In every corner of the country, they sit and drink alcohol while crying of lack of jobs. They devote themselves to reckless sex and drinking while they waste their capacity to engage in wealth creation with the support of projects initiated by our governments. The job potentials of our blessed countries are wasted. Among them are agriculture, industrialization, services, ICT, and civil service. I call on our disoriented youth to refocus on things that will create jobs, also through entrepreneurial skills and value addition. It is also necessary to include parents, teachers, and institutions to guide the youth in their early stages and role model a moral, successful life worthy of aspiring to prevent the youth from going astray in the future. This is necessary for our policies, programs, and funding to have their intended impacts. Dear Excellencies, dear fellow presidents, and representatives of our countries, let us work together in waking up our youth before it is too late. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
For besides doing projects and cooperate with others organizations and African institutions and European institutions, it's good also to see that all these kinds of trainings, international meetings, seminars involve African diaspora young people and also involve European people. It's quite interesting because it helps also for sustainable development of African continent, because this is what African youth diaspora desire. We desire not only to develop our own life, our community in Europe, but also we are always thinking about Africans. So how we can use our skills, how we can use our experience for the African sustainable development. So it's good and quite interesting to see this kind of interest of all African diaspora young people in this international meeting. Okay.
Thank you very much, President of Uganda, for that very passionate speech. We indeed cannot let our youth sleep. We cannot allow them to go into reckless drinking and waste the potential that we have. Thank you very much for that. President of Tunisia, you have the floor.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most gracious. Your Excellencies, Chair, Co-Chairperson, fellow African Presidents, distinguished guests, it's our pleasure, honor, and duty as well to be speaking from this position for the second time only in the most important African summit, the African Union. Let us take this advantage of this event to thank the President of Algeria to be present here, because we didn't see him for a long time on the media. Your Excellencies, we all lived and we all witnessed the crucial changes in Tunisia, especially in North African countries in general. These radical changes, the change that our people wanted and worked for, this change that aimed to make a better Tunisia, a new green Tunisia with no dictatorship flavor. This change that was mainly led by young categories, our sons, Tunisian youth. They tried to speak up for their rights, and we are here to reply to their call and to fulfill their needs. Your Excellencies, the most important, crucial and sensitive need for those youth is finding and providing enough opportunities and jobs. It's true that it's hard, but we do believe that we will do our best to fill this gap and put this important slice of our society in the place it deserves. It's true that we've been leading this nation and this country only for 3 years, but we do believe that we already began making a positive change in our country. We gave our youth the floor to show off. We did previously a lot of international partnerships for Tunisian youth, but now I'm not going to explore more the ideas and the thoughts, because actually we don't like to talk a lot in the air. We do love to put our thoughts into the field. We can't say that we are there yet, but we do believe that we are on the straight path. May Allah, or the Almighty, guide us to make Tunisia and Africa a better place to live in. Peace be upon you. Salam.
Thank you very much, Honorable President of Tunisia, and we'll also note that Tunisia, post the revolution, is doing a lot to engage the youth back again, not to allow them to go back to the streets but to empower them to sustain and grow Tunisia's economy. President of Togo, you have the floor. President of Zambia, prepare yourself.
Mr. Chairman, sir, co-chairman, fellow presidents here present, permits me to also recognize the presence of other international organizations and representative of international institutions. I would like to start on this note that the youth is our tomorrow's workforce, and as such, young actors must be privileged as the social, economic, cultural, and political transformation in every country. And the Togolese youth has paid a heavy price in the various social and political unrest in our country for the past 15 years. And because of this, we have put policies in place to make sure that the youth, they have meaningful and gainful and sustainable employment. And since 2008, my country, the Togolese people, we've adopted a national policy for the youth in terms of employment, and in 2013 we adopted a bill for the program for the youth, and it's called the program Emploi des Jeunes. There also exists a youth employment program which forms part of the national strategy, and the plan for the youth is a 4-year action plan and a national youth policy, and it's started since this year 2014 and it's going to run to 2017. And in our budget, the youth has been considered immensely in the budget, and the Ministry of Basic Development, Craft and Youth Employment has been allocated $16.1 billion US. And to be more specific, also for youth volunteering, we've allocated 6.3 million. And on this note, I'm so glad that
Honorable President of Togo, you have 30 seconds.
Thank you very much.
So it would be really good if we only had one person representing one country, just for logistics, you know. So of course we can spread out the whole room, which would also be good, but let's see if we can get your country. But if you still want Nigeria, you guys can still. But,
We have a third girl who's not here yet. She's also in Nigeria.
okay, good. So you maintain you and that lady, and then we'll get you another country. Just right now. Maria, where's Maria? You can help get him a country, yeah? Okay, let's continue.
World Bank.
Oh, the World Bank, the bosses, eh?
Egypt.
Nice. There's a new president, you know. He's just a few months into. Is it a few months? The Egyptian can correct me. So
And we are two. So
two presidents here.
yeah, two Egyptian countries.
Who's the other one?
I don't know.
It's on the list, but it's not.
If he's not here right now, you're the president. So tomorrow they come and then you're Minister of Foreign Affairs.
But what happens when the other person also prepares with the presumption that he or she...
They don't know. They don't know. They were not told to prepare. But if they do, you supersede that.